Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Jimari Pactao, and today I will be discussing chapter 14 and 15 of Jose Rizal Masterpiece, No Limit ang Iri. We will talk about the story, the lesson, the themes, and the deep message Rizal wanted to share with us through these chapters. So, first, let's look our learning objectives. By the end of this discussion, you should be able to summarize the key events of both chapters, compare Ibarra's the idealism and Tashio's realism, identify major themes like reform, experience, and corruption, explain the importance of wisdom when making decisions, and relate the message of this chapter to real life situations today. So first, the introduction. No Limit ang Ere was written to expose the social injustice happening in the Philippines during the Spanish colonization. It reflects real problems in our society back then. First, we see the abuse of power. Authorities like friars and government officials often misuse their position to control and harm ordinary people. Second is corruption in institution. Groups like church and the government were supposed to serve the people, but instead they prioritize protecting themselves and their own interests. So, analysis. Let's now analyze the deeper meanings and ideas found in this chapter. First topic is reform versus revolution. The story shows us that reform is slow, strategic, and peaceful change. On the other hand, revolution is faster than riskier and more violent. Old Tasio is skeptical about reform. He believes that people in power rarely give up their control willingly. This reflects the real history of our country. That change is never easy and progress is hard to achieve without big changes in the system. Next is experience versus idealism. Experience teach us a caution because those who have lived longer have seen failure, betrayal, and resistance. Idealism, like what Ibarras has, is driven by hope and belief that things can get better. Rizal does not say one is better than other. Instead, he teaches us, without idealism, no change will ever begin. But without experience, any change we start will eventually collapse. We need both to succeed. Lastly, in our analysis, forewarning of tragedy. Old Tasio words and warnings act like preview or a hint of what will happen later to Ibarra. Even if Ibarra doesn't realize it yet, the reader understands that danger is coming. This teaches us that having good intention alone is never enough to stop bad things from happening. We must be wise and careful too. So now let's talk about the most important lessons or takeaways we get from the chapter 14. First, change requires strategy. Change requires strategy. Passion and good dreams are not enough to change society. We need a clear and careful plan. We must understand who holds the power, who can help us, and when is the right time to act. Without strategy, even the best intentions will fail because powerful people will always fight to stop change. Old Tasio reminds us reform must be done carefully to avoid conflict and danger. Second lesson, the youth must listen to wisdom. Young people like Ibarra have so much energy, hope, and desire to make things better. But experience gives lesson that you cannot learn quickly or from books alone. Old Tasio represents his experience and wisdom. Ignoring his advice means repeating mistakes from the past. But listening to him makes our plans stronger and safer. We should always respect and learn from those who have lived and experienced more than us. So the third and very important lesson, idealism needs realism. Idealism inspires us to dream of a better future, but realism makes sure that those dreams are actually possible to achieve. Ibarra idealism pushes him to work for change, but Tasio realism reminds him that society is full of limits, danger, and problems. Without realism, idealism becomes just a dream or a fantasy. Without idealism, realism makes us hopeless and afraid to act. A balance of both is the only way to create meaningful and lasting change. So let's go to reflection question. First question is, how does Ibarra family background influence his desire for reform? Ibarra comes from a rich, educated, and privileged family. He was able to study abroad and learn new ideas about progress. That is why he wants to improve society, especially through education. But because he grew up comfortable, he does not fully understand how hard life is for the poor. This makes his ideas very idealistic but sometimes not practical enough. So next question is, compare Ibarra and Elias. What does this tell us about privilege and opportunity? Ibarra grew up with comfort, education, and status. That is why he believed change happened peacefully. Elias, on the other hand, suffered injustice and hardship. His whole life, he is not hopeful about peaceful reform and believes change must stronger and faster. This teaches us privilege change how we see the world. Having good life gives you hope, but having no privilege or power makes you feel frustrated and desperate. To truly understand our society, we must understand both sides. Chapter 15, The Sacristan. This chapter is a sad and powerful story about injustice, abuse of authority, and the loss of innocence. It shows us how the poor and innocent suffer the most when society is unfair. It portrays clearly how bad things happen when people in power misuse their position. For this chapter, our goals are: explain the events involving Crispin and Basilio, analyze themes like abuse, corruption, and injustice, see how powerful is misused even inside institutions, understand how fear and silence make injustice worse, and relate the lessons to real life. So, the summary of chapter 15. Crispin and Basilio were altar boys. They were poor, so they had to work even though they were still children. One day they were accused of stealing church money, but there was no proof at all. They were accused just because they were poor. The head sacristan punished them very harshly and violently. Crispin was locked inside the church, hurt badly, and later died. Basilio managed to escape, but he was injured, afraid, and traumatized. The saddest part, no one helped them. Everyone was too scared to speak up or question authority. Because of fear, injustice was allowed to happen. So let's go to analysis of chapter 15. First, child abuse under religious authority. The church is supposed to be a place of goodness, guidance, and safety, but here it became a place of oppression and cruelty. Result teach us even respected institutions can become evil when power is misused. Second, corruption hidden by fear. Fear stops people from speaking the truth or fighting back. When people are afraid, corruption and injustice grow and never get fixed. So the third is loss of innocence. Crispin and Basilio were pure, kind, and hardworking children. Their suffering symbolized innocence is destroyed when children experience violence, cruelty, and injustice at a young age. So let's go to takeaways from chapter 15. Here are the most important lessons we learned from chapter 15. Power must protect the weak. Authority is not for control or abuse. It exists to defend those who cannot defend themselves, especially children and the poor. Institutions can become corrupt. Even groups we respect can fail us if the people leading them are selfish or bad. Children and the poor suffer most whenever a system or society is unfair. The most vulnerable people always suffer first and worst. So let's go to reflection question. Let's reflect once more. First, how does Rizal use satire to show how fake the rich people were? He shows us that the rich and enlightened cared only about their reputation, their looks, and their power. They did not care about truth or justice. Rizal makes fun of them to show their hypocrisy and they act like good people, but they are actually selfish and morally weak. So next, did Ibarra do a job working with these elites? Not fully. Ibarra was respectful and peaceful, but the rich people cared more about keeping their power than supporting change. His idealism stopped him from seeing how deep the corruption really was. And the last, how could Ibarra get their support without fighting them? He could do it by building alliance, explaining how reform will help everyone and using diplomacy and patience instead of fighting directly. That way he gains trust and resistance. So the conclusion. To conclude, chapter 14 and 15 teach us two very important lessons. Chapter 14 shows us changing society is hard. We need hope, but we also need wisdom, strategy, and experience. Dreams are good, but we must be realistic too. So, chapter 15 shows us injustice hurts the innocent the most. Abuse of power and silence destroy people's lives. Rizal's message is clear. We cannot have a good society if power is abused. If the power are hurt, and if we stay silent, real change happen when we stand up for what is right and protect those who cannot protect themselves.